Hello again. Today's story that I'm going to be reading is about Moses in the bulrushes. Once upon a time, a long time ago, there was a girl called Miriam who lived in Egypt, and her family were Hebrew slaves. There were so many Hebrew slaves, and they all worked for the king. One day, the king gave an order. There are enough Hebrews in Egypt. There must be no more baby boys. The king sent out his soldiers to all the Hebrew villages. If they found any baby boys, they would kill them. Miriam's mother had a baby boy. "What are we to do?" Miriam cried. Miriam's mother hid the baby in the house, and Miriam watched over him. "Shh, little brother, you must be good for mother. No one must hear you." But when the baby was 3 months old, he was too big, too noisy to hide in the house any longer. Miriam's mother decided that she had a basket, so she painted it so that it wouldn't leak. Then she wrapped the baby in a blanket and put him in the basket. When no one was looking, Miriam and her mother carried the basket down the river and hid amongst the bulrushes. Miriam's mother hurried back to the house, leaving Miriam to watch over the baby. All day long, Miriam hid nearby to make sure the baby was safe. And she again said, "Shh, little brother, be good for mother." Then from her hiding place, Miriam could see some people coming. The king's daughter was walking alongside the river, along the bank with her servants. She saw something floating in the bulrushes. "Fetch that for me," she told her servant. The servant brought the little basket to the king's daughter. It floated just like a little boat. The king's daughter looked inside the basket and was amazed. "It's a baby boy," she smiled. The king's daughter lifted the basket from the river and then took the baby from the basket. The baby began to cry. "He must be a Hebrew baby," said the king's daughter. "Poor little thing, you must be very hungry." Just then, Miriam jumped up from her hiding place. "Shall I fetch someone to feed the baby and look after him for you?" she asked. "Yes, that's a good idea," said the king's daughter. Miriam ran to find her mother, and together they ran and hurried down to the river. "I will pay you money to feed this baby and look after him for me," said the king's daughter, and she handed the baby to his mother. Miriam and her mother were very happy. They took the baby back home and cared for him until he was old enough to go to the palace. The king's daughter was delighted. "I'll bring him up like a son, and I will call him Moses." And that's where the story of Moses begins. Now, don't forget to listen to the 90-second stories of Jesus for toddlers and their families every Friday with Carol. And also, stay safe, stay inside, and thank you for listening. I look forward to being with you again for another story very soon.